with Sherry from Tranquility Soul Spa live in your feed. Hello! So, today I want to talk very briefly. I'm not going to make this a long, busy one, but I want to talk really briefly about something that I was reminded of this morning that kind of went, oh yeah, right. I forgot that that was my life for so long. Oh my Lord. And it is one of the lesser known, lesser talked about symptoms of stress and anxiety. And that is that your immune system is shit. You catch, I caught everything that came down the pike. And it's not just me. It's documented that this is the case when you have a lot of stress in your life and a lot of anxiety in your life, and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling all strung out, like you just can't even, you catch everything. Your immune system shuts down and it freaking sucks. Really beyond words, sucks. So what's going on? Why does this happen? The reason why, when you are all stressed out and anxious and whatever, that your immune system shuts down is because we're not able to do everything that we want to do physically wise when we're at that high level of cortisol that's coming out, when we're at that high level of vibration, when we are really, really, really anxious and we're all tense and tight and stressed out. When we're there, our bodies don't work properly. They don't. It's physically impossible for your body to do all of the things that it's meant to do when you aren't at 100%, period. Now, this can be incredibly frustrating. I remember I spent the better part of 3 decades catching everything. Someone 4 houses down from me could sneeze and I would catch it pretty much instantly. Oh, it was awful. And of course, I worked in public service in the public at the time, right? I was in the service industries. I worked at a cookie store. I worked at a bank. I worked at a bunch of different places that meant that I was touching money and touching people and letting them breathe on me. And that is the worst place for someone who has anxiety and stress all the time and doesn't have an immune system because of that to be doing. If that's you, raise your hand, because there are so many of us that are stuck with this. So I spent the better part of 3 decades from my mid to late teens through to after I had my son, being sick almost constantly. It sucked. It sucked, people. It was awful. I remember my breaking point was after my son was born, because up until that point, it was just a nuisance, but it wasn't really a big deal. But after I had my son, I remember going to see a naturopath for the second time in my life about this and telling him, like, I cannot be sick anymore. I have spent most of my life feeling like crap, coughing and sneezing and being in a fever. It's horrible. And I can't do this anymore while I have a new baby at home. I can't be sick all the time and try really hard to balance being what was basically a single mom with a dual income, because my husband was in the military. He was never home. So it was frustrating. And when we are in that moment, it's really tough to recognize that that's what's actually going on. So I was blaming it on everything else. And you probably are too. You're probably blaming it on that you are just like that that your immune system is just not as good as everybody else's. Maybe you think you don't eat properly. Maybe you think that you don't get enough sleep. Maybe you're blaming it on just genetics. I know I blamed it on genetics for a long time. Maybe you're blaming it on really anything, just anything. But the truth of the matter is that this is a stress problem. This is an anxiety problem. This is one of the lesser known and the most annoying symptoms of stress and anxiety. My lowest point, my lowest of the lows, after I'd already been to the naturopath and he hadn't had anything more than zinc to offer me again, was my son's second birthday. I caught some kind of horrific bacterial infection and I couldn't even breathe. I was 3/4 of the way dead. I was on really strong antibiotics. It was horrific. I couldn't even get out of bed. I didn't have enough energy to get out of bed. And I didn't throw my 2-year-old son a second birthday party because I had been sick for a month before his birthday. That was my lowest of the lows. About 3 months after that, someone finally told me about Cold-FX, and then that stopped it in its tracks. And then from there, I started to figure out the actual cause, which was the stress and the anxiety and the overwhelm, and that I needed to support my body in a different way in order to get a different result. But I honestly, for most of my adult life, I was so sick all the time. It sucked. It absolutely sucked. It ruined so many family events. It ruined so many social events. It ruined so many opportunities that I could have spent time with other people, but instead I was in bed sleeping it off or sneezing, coughing. I always had a box of Kleenex attached to me. I still, to this day, even though I don't get sick anymore as often as I did, I still occasionally get something, but not like I did. But I still buy Kleenex in bulk. And I always have the lotion kind because otherwise my nose gets all yucky. But these are things that's not normal. You shouldn't have to buy Kleenex in bulk. You shouldn't have to know that the lotion ones are going to keep your nose from being yucky. And that if you're really, really struggling, a layer of Vaseline keeps all the moisture in so your skin doesn't get all gross. No one should know that. You shouldn't be sick often enough to know your secrets to keep yourself from looking like you're sick. It just boggles my mind. We don't talk about this one very often. We talk about some of the other things. We talk about the losing your hair. We talk about the losing or gaining weight. We talk about the fact that your skin breaks out. We talk about the effect on relationships. We talk about, the fact that it affects your digestion, that it causes a lot of headaches, that it does all of these terrible things, that all of this stuff impacts your ability to earn income and to be promoted at work. But we don't talk about the toll that it takes on your health, on your immune system. And let me tell you, if you are also finding that you get sick at the drop of a hat, you, my friend, are at grave risk of developing an autoimmune disorder, at grave risk. Those of us who struggled for most of our adult lives with stress, with anxiety, with overwhelm, with depression, with all of this shit in our freaking heads, we are the ones who get these stupid autoimmune diseases that are really just our body's way of saying, I hate being on this planet. I hate life. Getting sick all the time and getting autoimmune diseases, these are your ultimate, I hate this fucking world. disease. All of them. I don't care which one you've got. If you got Hashimoto's, if you've got Lyme disease, if you've got lupus, if you've got any of them, they are all just cries for help from your body saying, please, please deal with your issues. Please stop torturing us. We deserve better than this. Now, you can believe me or not believe me. That's up to you. But what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change your life? How are you going to stop it, to stop this madness so that you can live the life you want to live instead of the crappy life that's going to keep you stuck right where you are? Stressed out, anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, feeling like garbage, maybe like hot garbage on a summer day, because that was me for a really long time. Let me tell you, that was no fun at all. It really sucks. It really does. And the only way to make it better is to do the work, to change the way you relate to yourself, to change those inner conversations so that you are no longer hating yourself and hating being on this planet, to change your habits in whatever way is supportive for you so that you can feel good about yourself, so that you can support what you have left of your immune system, so that you can create change. And you have to have a why. Without a why, you are never going to get anywhere. You have to have a why. You have to have something that drives you forward, something that pulls you forward, that makes you interested in sticking around and changing your life. Without those three things, you're never going to get anywhere with any of this. And that's the honest truth. I could lie to you, but I'm not going to, because it's exhausting and I don't want to do that. To find someone. If you want therapy, go to therapy. If you want to use a coach and move forward into your life, do that. If you want to heal your past, do that. Whatever it is, do it. Make it happen. Make these changes. Because until you do, your immune system is just going to keep shutting down and shutting down and shutting down. And the more it does, the more likely you are to develop a horrific autoimmune disease. And nobody wants one of them because they are game changers when it comes to your quality of life. And on that note, wherever you are in this big, beautiful, amazing world, have a fabulous, awe-inspiringly good day. Enjoy whatever you've got going on. Gosh, we have like less than 100 days left before the end of the year. How are you planning on using those 100 days to make your life better? What are your plans for changing things up, for transforming your life, for shifting ever so slightly into your best life? What do you want to do? And if you need a little bit of a kick in the ass to actually get some of this stuff done, I am going to drop the link in the comments for my amazing 5 techniques for managing your stress and overwhelm. They are incredible techniques, and I actually have 5 techniques and then a couple of little bonuses too. So it's more like 8 or 9 techniques. As a 20-minute video, I'll drop the link so you can watch it. It's amazing. It's great content. And we'll talk to you soon. Talk soon. Bye.